Don't F this up, because in front of you right now is the opportunity to make 10, 20, maybe even 30x gains over the next 6 to 8 months of crypto bull market ahead. And choosing the right altcoins that can give you those gains is actually the easy part. But the thing that most of you mess up is that you make any one of these 7 common mistakes that I'm going to talk about in this video. If you can avoid making these mistakes, then guess what? You have a high chance of making some serious returns on your crypto portfolio over the next few months. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Let's go make some money. Now, before we go and jump into the 7 deadly sins of crypto, let's quickly just have a look at the markets. I know many of you are feeling a little bit rattled today, a little bit worried, but there's nothing to worry about. Bitcoin's just having a little dip, a little cool off. After going to $105,000, it currently sits at $102,000. I mean, it's rallied over $30,000 in the last month alone. You would have expected it to cool off a little bit more. And as you can see, it's just going sideways, but the M2 money supply keeps pumping higher from today, and things will be getting much brighter probably from next week. We can expect to see all-time highs for Bitcoin, and I would say Ethereum's, XRPs, etc. in towards June time. Things are going to get incredibly exciting. Stop panicking. Stop being emotional. That's a little bit of an insight into one of these rules. Another thing that's got me quite confident about where we are in the markets and that we aren't seeing a top right now is that this was the top we saw back in December. This is the funding rate heat map. It showed that everyone was opening leverage positions in December to go long. Everyone was bullish. And that's when we saw the big retrace. Right now, you can see that everyone is still scared. And that's why down in the comments, you'll see people being like, what bull market? This is, my coins are only up 10% or 20% in the last week. I'm holding all the best altcoins. Why aren't they going up? This is the drama that's going on. But ultimately, the fear and worry in the markets is a good thing. It means we have lots more runway towards the upside. If everyone was bullish as hell, I would be more worried. So obviously, the thing you've come here for is to hear about these 7 deadly sins of crypto. So what are they? Number 1, not doing your research. Now, why is not doing your research not a good thing? And I don't mean just watching my YouTube video or Alex Becker or Crypto Banter and going and buying crypto coins that they've talked about. That is not research, okay? Research is basically going and finding out why that person's actually bullish. Are they being bullish for a reason? Is that coin actually legitimate? Are they actually building and developing and bringing people on chain? Are they actually selling a service and making money? Or does it just sound like something good that's not actually doing anything? Go and research for yourself. Why? Because 1, it's going to enable you to pick much better projects. 2, it's going to enable you to be a grown person where you don't have to go and point fingers at other people and blame someone else for your decision making, where you bought the coin with your own hard-earned money. And number 3, the most important one, when the market dips to the downside, like it does today, you're not going to lose conviction in that coin. If you bought a coin that I talked about last week and it went up, you're like, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. Today, those coins have probably gone down. And if you didn't research them, you're like, is he really the real deal? I don't know if I can trust him anymore. And that's because you haven't understood what this coin's doing. I get that same feeling when I buy meme coins. I have no understanding why meme coins are going up and down at any given point. Okay, so I tend to stay away from them a bit because of that. I buy high utility coins because I understand why they're fundamentally driven. Okay? If you don't know how to do your own research, then check out a video I made yesterday on the School of Crypto where I talked about the 10 most common research tools that I use on a daily basis. Okay, this is one that I use to do all my research. And also, if you are not subscribed to the House of Crypto, make sure you're subscribed, notification bell turned on. Over the course of the next few weeks and months, we will look into different crypto projects. And instead of me just telling you why a coin's good, I will show you why it's good with the proof of the metrics and the data. And by understanding this, you can go away and find your own coins before I start talking about them, and then you can make some serious returns. Number 2, emotional trading. Stop doing it. Every time you come into the markets, you're turning on crypto bubbles, you're opening coin market cap, and you're like, oh, what is going on with WIT? Has there been any news on this dog with a hat on coin that's made it pump 67%? Guys, everything is driven by emotion and hype and excitement in these markets. Underneath it all is altcoins with some utility, altcoins with no utility, and lots of other crazy stuff going on with market makers. But I tell you, above all things, one of the most dangerous things is to rush into the market and buy when the markets have been pumping, and to rush into the markets and sell when the markets are dumping. Just look at this for a moment. This is what most people do. They rush into the market like a week ago or 2 weeks ago when the market's doing this. And then what do? They buy coins like SUI here at like $3.7. The next day, we have a bit of a cool off. SUI drops like 19%. And they're like, oh my God, I've chosen the wrong coin. And they sell their coin. They've just turned their $1,000 into $800. SUI then goes back up. Am I holding the wrong coin? They rush back in again. And they're like, SUI comes back down 12%, 13%. Now that $800 is now worth about $700. Maybe a little less. I'm not sure of the maths. Okay, sorry. And they continue to do this until they've got literally nothing left. But by being non-emotional, by doing your research and being logical, if you just buy when everybody else in the world is absolutely panicking, it's the easiest time. And if you sell when everybody in the world is telling you to buy, is also probably better. Okay? So this is what everybody does. Everybody wants to buy and hold when the market's up here. And if you tell them to sell, they'll scream and shout at them and tell them they're an idiot. Okay? And then what they want to do is they want to sell down here. So they buy high, they sell low, they get wrecked every time, and they tell you that crypto's a scam. Crypto is damn easy if you stop being emotional and you buy high utility coins like SUI at lows. But you don't buy SUI now because it's already pumped up massively. Instead of buying SUI, you ask yourself, what's the next best coin to buy? And I'll show you in just a moment how you can do that. And it's by understanding why SUI went up in the first place. Now, I know you're newer to crypto, maybe it's difficult. SUI went up. If you go to defilamba.com, you can find out why. The TVL has been pumping. The value locked on chain in SUI, or the apps and stuff on SUI, have been performing really strongly. The stablecoin market has been around $1 billion of daily volume using SUI network. This is good because it takes away from the SUI supply, and this affects the supply and demand model. On top of this, you've got that they've just had a partnership with 21 Shares to launch a SUI ETF, bringing lots of people on chain. They're launching a gaming device. The team originally came from Meta. So many bullish things about SUI. I talked about this on a video over a month ago when we were at lows and people called me an idiot, and now everyone's asking to buy. But in my opinion, you're too late to be buying SUI right this second. SUI will carry on going up. But from here, I don't think your returns are as good as if you find another blockchain that's showing similar pros to what SUI is, like Say, for example, which is showing very similar metrics. TVL pumping like crazy. Market cap, stablecoins, 234 mil every day, pretty solid. Lots of projects being built, gathering lots of fees, doing pretty well. Okay, obviously not the same scale as SUI, but this is a $1 billion market cap coin. SUI, on the flip side, is like a 10 billion plus market cap coin. Buy the one that is yet to pump that is similar to the ones that everyone's talking about. Does that make sense? Stop being emotional. If you're emotional and you buy big green bubbles, you're late to the party, and people like me will start to sell to you when you're trying to buy, and you don't want that. Number 3, falling in love with your coin. And yes, it's as weird as it sounds. Why do people do it? Well, maybe there's a psychology major in the comments who can tell me what goes on. But effectively, I think it's all to do with confirmation bias. When you buy a coin and you start to do some research on that coin and you're like, wow, this coin is really special. Okay, this is my precious coin. And they start to spend more and more time looking into why that coin's a great thing to be holding. And when the price goes up, even better. Now that coin is going up and it's reinforcing that I made the right choice and that I'm a legend of investing. Then, when the market comes down again, typically people are like, well, you know, maybe this is still the best coin. I really love it. So yeah, obviously they've done their own research, which is a big tick. But if you're going too far down the rabbit hole and you're looking for confirmation bias all the time, it can be kind of toxic, and it can result in you, one, not taking any advice from anyone else and listening to anything else that might be causing you to think that maybe this project isn't as good as it actually sounded when I first looked at it. And 2, it ends up meaning that you're going to be a bag holder. Now, if we think about certain communities out there where they have armies, these are people who are very much in love with their crypto coins. And that's fine because, you know, XRP is going to change the future and Casper's going to be the best peer-to-peer cash. Most of you are not using these coins for what they're designed for anyway. You're just holding them and you're telling yourself every day why it's such an amazing thing and you're going to make loads of money and it makes you feel good. It's good for your ego, but it's not good for much else. And unfortunately, those YouTubers who are struggling to get views out there will go after your confirmation bias. They'll trick you into watching video after video telling you why you are such a legend as an XRP holder and that XRP is going to $1.2 trillion market cap, which is bigger than Bitcoin right now and probably not going to happen. You can go watch Casper videos where people time after time tell you price predictions that are just outrageous. I made a video last summer about Casper saying all the good things because there's lots of positives about Casper, and I said a couple of negative things like it doesn't have smart contracts yet, it's struggling to bring people into the ecosystem, like SUI as an example, and people got really fired up in the comments. If you can't see that Casper is a unicorn, go and buy Doge or Shiba. I'm going to save this video and come back when it goes up even more. Unfortunately, after this video, Casper went down around 73%. It is going to come back up, and I'm sure once Casper gets back towards all-time highs, which it will, lots of little Timmies will arrive back in the comments for this video years and years ago and be like, I told you it was going to go up, and whatever else, okay? Whatever happens, I don't care. Stop being so emotionally engaged with coins. Be willing to hear other people's opinions and argue against them if it makes sense to do so, but obviously keep a distance. Okay, it's a digital coin. It's like a little picture on a JPEG that doesn't really represent anything to you, doesn't mean anything to you. Stop treating it it like a crypto girlfriend. Now, those are probably the most major ones, but there's a few others that I think are pretty important as well. Number 4, overtrading. Now, this kind of comes from not doing your own research and being impatient and emotional and all the other things. But basically, you're like, today, the market's taking a little bit of a dip, and you're bored. And this happens because when crypto markets move up and we start to make money, we get lots of dopamine. We feel really good. Things are good, right? We get dopamine from smoking cigarettes, from drinking alcohol, from taking drugs, if that's your thing. And this is a bit of a problem because all of these things I've just talked about are addictive. And so is trading. So is making money. Guess what, though? If you keep trying to chase the dopamine and try and get those quick wins all the time, you're going to get screwed. You're going to rush from coin to coin. You're going to pay big fees for doing it. You're going to miss out on some of the best gains because you're going to jump after the coins that have been pumping and sell the coins that are yet to pump, which is obviously one of the major errors that causes people to miss out in a big way. And then you're going to take profits too early, and then you're going to ape back into the market, and then you're going to lose all the profits that you originally took. The amount of people in the last bull market who took good money out at the top of the bull market and then aped back into Luna when Luna was pumping up like crazy and then lost everything is huge, okay? Be very cautious. Be very self-controlled. Get yourself away from the charts. Spend some more time outside. Breathe a little. Set some goals about where you want to be going with your portfolio. If you've got $1,000 right now and you want to get to $9,000 by this bull market end, set that as a goal. Once you get there, pull the money out. Okay, be patient. Just wait. The market will get there eventually. Look at SUI as an example. It's chopped over the last few days and weeks. Eventually, it goes up. Most cryptos will eventually go up. You've got to do pretty well to pick a coin that's not going to make you some multiples from this current point in the market. Okay, if you want to know which coins to pick, which coins I'm holding, then subscribe. I'll talk about that in future videos. I've got some really amazing ones that I still think are amazing value right now and undervalued. Anyway, moving on. And number 5, believing in the news and having to have an excuse for something happening in crypto. Lots of things happen in crypto every single day under your nose that you don't really realize are happening. A lot of the news that is added to the markets, like major Donald Trump tariffs, like the Japan carry trade going wrong, like the FTX collapse, and all sorts of other things are designed to shake you out and make you very fearful of the markets. FTX a bad example. That actually happened. That actually went wrong. This Japan carry trade disappeared within 24 hours and no one talked about it again. This Donald Trump tariff stuff, it got pretty bad, and then guess what? Now everyone's starting to ease off. Those tariffs obviously don't seem to be so bad anymore. Everyone's happy to go. This, however, coincides perfectly with the M2 money supply bottom. Notice that? Interesting, right? So that news was designed to make you get scared and get shaken out of the markets before liquidity turned back into the markets. This is why all the major banks and everyone didn't start panic buying the dollar and everything else around this time. And in fact, the dollar went down around this time, which tells you that the big smart money wasn't worried at all about what was going on during this period because the dollar was falling. Okay? Usually, if they were worried that there's a recession coming or the market's going to collapse, everyone rushes to the dollar. It should have sent the dollar price pumping. But you can see the dollar price falls off the edge of a cliff. Okay, so you got shaken out by news because news doesn't control the markets. Now I know lots of YouTube channels, whatever, talk about Michael Saylor's going to be buying crypto and Donald Trump's going to open a Bitcoin strategic reserve and all these other very bullish things for crypto. This is all great, and yeah, it kind of helps crypto get going. But really, the market is going to be driven by liquidity, and there will be a bull market top. And if you believe that the news is going to tell you that this time is different and Bitcoin's going to $1 million, you will be holding bags throughout the rest of the next bear market. I promise you. And there will be another bear market because there is always a major blow off top bull market because everybody gets way too greedy and then there's no one left to come in and buy after you. And if no one's left to come in and buy from you, people take profits on you and then you get wrecked. Okay, so be cautious. There will be a bear market coming. I don't know whether it happens at $200,000. I don't know if that happens at $150,000. The best markers really are the M2 money supply, seeing a significant pullback like this, and on top of that, funding rates being high, greed index and max greed, coin market cap being like the #1 downloaded app on the App Store or Coinbase or Binance, whatever it is. Okay, indicates lots of newbies are in the market. Lots of newbies tend to indicate market is getting hot and near a big price collapse. Okay, so if you start to hear your friends who have no business in finance and crypto start talking to you about crypto and whether it's too late to buy, then you know what to do, right? Start selling. Right now is not that time because most of the little Timmies are down in the comments telling us that we don't have a bull market. Number 6, holding too many coins. This kind of stems from all the other ones. Not being patient, being a little bit ill-disciplined, and ultimately not doing your research properly. Because if you did your research, you will probably identify that there aren't really that many really good coins in crypto. really there isn't that many that are actually producing good quality projects, that are actually delivering a service, that are being paid for their service, that are getting transactions, that are getting people into the world of crypto. If you understood this and the difference between a project that sounds good in paper because of what it's going to do in the future and one that's doing it already, then you will start to see that there aren't that many amazing things coming up, okay? Focus towards the ones that are really delivering core key values. That's where your returns come from. If you have lots of coins in your portfolio and you're holding like 3 deep in projects that do similar stuff, like a Cash, an Aether, and I don't know, Aught, someone told me about this morning, then go and identify the best one of those 3 and then probably move into that one there. Number 7, and probably the one that is the most difficult of all, that is taking profits. We don't take profits because the bull market traps us emotionally. All of these things are kind of linked together, okay? But taking profits is a big one. I typically will take profits when we start to see significant kind of tail offs in the M2 money supply. We're starting to see a little bit of that coming in sometime around July. And if into the summer we see more of this decline, it would tell me that this is a good time to be taking some profits off the table. It doesn't mean that I have to go and sell it all and go and buy something else outside of crypto. Maybe I could just be sidelined for it. Maybe I could just take my profits from some altcoins that have been pumping like crazy and just push it back into Bitcoin. Even if Bitcoin does dip 20%, I'm going to be good because I've moved my like 500, 600% gains from those small cap altcoins into Bitcoin. If those altcoins see a dip because Bitcoin dips, they will dip more like 60%, 70%. Far more difficult to be involved. Now, in order to take profits, we also need to set ourselves a goal. And you can check out my exit plan video I made the other day about that. Okay, but you need to set a goal right now about how much money you're here to make. Don't be unreasonable, okay? If you've got $1,000 right now and you're trying to make 10 grand by the end of the year, you really can. That's not really impossible, okay? But if you're trying to turn it into 50 grand, you're going to have to be damn lucky. You're going to have to put a lot of risk out there, and you don't really want to be doing that, okay? Because into the next bull market is where you can make the real gains. If you make 10 grand here, 20 grand here, and in the next bull market, you put 10, 20 grand back into crypto, back into Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up another 5x, Ethereum goes up, whatever. After that, then you can end up with your 50 grand, 100 grand, maybe even more into the future, okay? But just be patient here. Have a goal in mind, sell, and start selling once you get nearer that point. Also, if the M2 starts to dump off the face of the cliff and we start to see funding rates at sky-high prices and all the things that I talked about earlier, again, start to take profits. Be happy to get completely out the market when everybody is screaming at you to buy crypto. When you're going to the barbershop and everybody is talking about crypto, that's the time to get out. Now, guys, obviously, this should sound pretty obvious to you. All of these things should be pretty easy, but obviously, we're emotional creatures. We find it difficult to kind of be logical sometimes. So, obviously, stay outside, calm things down. But if you want to have more mentoring, more coaching through this bull market to understand exactly which crypto coins you should be looking into rather than others, to be able to manage yourselves emotionally and to ask the questions you need to ask and get them answered by myself and other experts when you need them answered, then I recommend joining the Moon House, which is linked down below in the description. I found an absolute gem on the Zoom call this morning. Lots of the people in the group now getting in, researching that coin, starting to look at getting into it. There's lots of different altcoin alerts about different altcoins we're looking at right now. We talk about when to take profits. People ask questions all the time in here, and there's an expert on hand usually to answer that question within at least the first hour. There's various calls that happen, and every week there is a consistent Zoom call with me and the other experts joining to take you through all the different research and things we're doing, as well as to share you our insights into what's going on in the market. And we do a 10K portfolio challenge where I have my own 10K and then sort of invest in different coins, and people can watch along with that portfolio challenge as it goes. And also we condense down all of the different news that's happening on any given day, and we share the news in here, the most important things that you actually need to know about. Not the kind of Michael Saylor BS news that everyone else talks about, but actually real value, real stats, real data, etc. So all of that can be found through the Moon House, which is linked down below in the description. If you want to join that, then great. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. If you want to join a Hivemind with lots of other people around the world in crypto, where I also join from time to time to have discussions and share some of my research and share some of the data, then you can also join the Inner Circle, which is a slightly cheaper option at $20 a month rather than the Moon House, the premium one, at $100 a month. Now, guys, if you do all these things, you're probably going to do pretty well during this bull market ahead. Obviously, in the videos ahead, I will coach you and talk more about how to do research into coins. That's what I'm here for. So make sure you're subscribed, notification bell turned on if you want to keep up to date with that. Also, if you got this far through the video and you haven't done it already, please just hit the like button, leave a comment down below. It supports the algorithm and really helps me to get my content out to more people and to help the world of crypto become more educated and safe. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye-bye.